And I'll also mention
Okay, it's time now to actually welcome back for another monthly dose of wonderful, informative nutritional supplement material. The fabulous Dennis Gore course from DennisTheChemist.com. Dennis, welcome. I gather you're going to speak to us about selenium and Q10, telomeres, and the whole aging process.
That's right. So I've been talking about the world's rarest mineral, which is called selenium. This is a box of selenium. It's a tablet. It costs 10 pence a day. I'm just with my other hand taking out the tablet. So there's the tablet of selenium. And I'm also talking about a capsule which is called the letter Q with the number 10. And this is the box. This is called Hux Q10. This is a brand of Q10. It's 100 milligram strength. And in the box, there's these capsules. So what's so special about the tablet selenium, which is the world's rarest mineral? And in particular, people listening to this information, if you're in Great Britain, I can tell you that our soil levels has got one of the lowest selenium levels in the world. When the planet Earth was formed 8 billion years ago, a lot of countries drew the short straw, and England in particular has got one of the lowest selenium levels in the world. Now, these tablets, they only cost 10 pence. It's called Bio-Seleno Precise. It gives you the precise amount of selenium, 200 micrograms, that you need to add to the lousy levels that we're getting from the British soil. So it's the soil where our food grows, potatoes, cabbage, cauliflowers, the water we drink. Because the soil hasn't got much selenium, we're all low in selenium. And you need it to make 25 different pathways. Selenium P protects your liver. Selenium K protects your kidney. The M1, your muscle, and the N1 protects your nerve. And thioredoxin reductase selenium, what a mouthful, that protects your heart. So you can see selenium, there's 25 pathways. And with me saying we've got very low soil levels, everybody on this island, 65 million people in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, we've all got low levels of selenium. And yet it's an amazing substance, and it's only 10p a day to put back so you can make all the pathways. Now, the Q10, this substance, the Q10 is made in your liver. And as you pass 20, you start to make less Q10. And when you get to 40, your production of Q10 in the liver has gone back to the levels of a 2-year-old child. I, still working in my pharmacy here in Prestwich, Manchester, I'm 9 years off 90. I'm 81. And I've been taking Q10 since over 20 years because I learned about Q10 over 20 years ago. And I'm actually the only pharmacist in the world who's been to every world conference on this substance, Q10. Boston, Germany, Italy, London, Los Angeles, Prague, Belgium, Sweden, Seville, Bologna, New York. I've heard over 900 lectures on this capsule of Q10. And what it does, as I said, it's made in your liver. And as you get older, you make less and less and less. That's called aging. What it does, it joins the food that you eat and the oxygen you breathe, it joins them together in your cells to create energy. Now, most of you listening know H2O is water and O2 is oxygen, but most of you have never heard of ATP. What does that stand for? Adenosine triple phosphate. That's the chemical name of the molecule. Water's H2O, molecule of oxygen is called O2, but the molecule of energy is called ATP. And it's made large or small amounts, depending on whether you're making large amounts of Q10 or, as you get older and older and older and older and older, small amounts of Q10. So when you take a capsule of Q10, 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day, you take them at separate meals, with a tablet of the selenium, so that's the Q10 and the selenium, in elderly people aged aged 70 to 88. That was a massive trial years ago. Those on the real ones, when they were followed over the years, the death rate from a heart attack dropped 54%. It dropped by half. So these are life-giving properties from a tablet of selenium that cost 10p and a capsule of this Q10, which cost 40p. So by taking those, it's just amazing for the quality of your life. And I was in Sweden when all this was announced, where they did this trial with elderly people. There were 400 elderly people. As I say, they were all 70 to 88. And those on the real Q10 and selenium, compared to those on the dummy ones, their death rate dropped by half. Now, a new paper has come out using the same products. And what they've been analyzing, and this is the amazing thing, most people haven't heard the word telomeres. Telomeres. Telomeres are a little portion inside every cell in our body. We're made of trillions of cells. Trillions of cells. Actually, the number of cells in your body is 30 trillion. That is a big number. Not million, not billion, it's trillion. And what you probably don't know, in every one of those cells, under a microscope, you can see little bodies that look like sausages, and they're called mitochondria. And in these little sausage-shaped bodies called mitochondria, you've got up to 5,000 in every cell in your body. And I just said, you've got 30 trillion cells. So if you multiply 5,000 by 30 trillion, you can't imagine that large number. That's how many engines every living adult has got in their body. So the purpose of these engines, I'm calling them engines, because your blood supply delivers the food that you eat, and it delivers the oxygen you breathe to give you energy. That substance I said, ATP, adenosine triple phosphate. So when your blood supply brings the oxygen that you breathe, and when it brings the food that you've been eating and digesting, and the oxygen from your lungs and the food from your bowels, the oxygen and food end up in your blood and get carried to every engine, 5,000 mitochondria in all your 30 trillion cells. How's it going to make energy? Well, that ATP energy molecule has to be made from the oxygen you breathe and the food that you're eating. But what joins them together is the level of Q10, which is made in your liver. And as you get older and older, you make less Q10. And combined with selenium, which Great Britain's got one of the lowest levels in the world, if you take selenium and you take extra Q10, 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day of these 100 milligram capsules, a trial was followed in elderly people. This is the main message. I'm putting across. And this word telomere, the telomere that none of you have heard of, unless you're a scientist, is like a little cap protecting, and you may have come across the word chromosomes. Every cell in your body, 30 trillion, have got 23 chromosomes from your mum and 23 chromosomes from your dad. So 23 and 23 is 46. So every living human, there's 8 billion on the planet at the moment, they've all got these 46 chromosomes. And you've heard of the genes, not the Levi genes that you wear, but the GENES. These are the genes on your chromosomes. You've got over 20,000 genes, and all these genes have different jobs to do. How tall you're going to be, whether you've got a family problem of diabetes or high cholesterol. You've heard of the genes. And now the clever scientists are able to alter faulty genes to make certain illnesses disappear because they're altering the genes from faulty genes to healthy genes. But the job of this word telomere is to protect the chromosomes from damage. As we age, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, I'm 81, 9 years off 90. As we age, the telomeres shorten. They look like lines under a microscope, and as you age, they shorten. And you don't want them shortening, because as they shorten, they become faulty. And when they're faulty, everything starts to go wrong because they're not protecting the genes on your chromosomes. And then you get gene problem and things start to go wrong. You become wrinkled, then the heart gets damaged and the kidneys get damaged and the brain gets damaged. You get dementia, Alzheimer, diabetes, all the things that can kick in as you get older and older. And one of the reasons is your telomeres, these caps, which are protecting the genes on the chromosomes, even the telomeres are wearing out. So the bottom line is, this latest trial is that they gave elderly people the tablet of selenium and a couple of the Q10 capsules. And if anybody wants information on all this, you can Google info at dennisthechemist.com and just say, I'd like you to send me online or in the post, and we'll pay for the stamp, the information on what Dennis was talking about, the selenium and the Q10. Yes, and so with these elderly people who were on the real selenium and Q10, when they examined over 2, 3, 4 years, the length of these protective telomeres, they hadn't shortened, they'd stayed long because of the Q10 and the selenium they were taking. The telomeres stayed long, they hadn't shortened. And this is how they stop the aging process and give you longevity. And in the trials, when they followed these people who were elderly people, the death rate, once again, from heart attacks and heart-related problems went down by half, because the mineral selenium, of which Great Britain's soil has one of the lowest levels in the world, so our food and water hasn't got enough, and the Q10 production, as you get to 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, your liver is making less Q10, and Q10 gives you your energy. To do everything that you do, it requires Q10. So you can see why the elderly people were so healthy, and their death rate and problems from heart and heart-related problems greatly dropped because these products are literally like the elixir of life. So that was the point I wanted to make today, Alex, that Q10, it looks back to front because the mirror effect, and selenium. Those are amazing products that help people. My mother on these lived to 92 and did all the bookwork for my busy pharmacy here in Prestwich, Manchester. My uncle had his own computer and he lived to 99 and a half, and he ordered things online at that age. He was on selenium and Q10. And I've been selling these products for 20, 30 years. And as I said, I've been to every world conference on Q10 in 11 countries and heard 970 lectures. And when you combine it with the mineral selenium, the world's rarest mineral, that Great Britain's got one of the lowest levels in the world, you can see how important these things are. They're very good for your immune system. And with having COVID, you need a strong immune system. So many people over this last 2 years, with this knowledge I've been giving them over the last 20 years, have been taking a tablet of this Bio-Seleno Precise and some Q10 capsules, one with the breakfast, one with your lunch, and one with your evening meal. The only people who have to be careful with Q10, there's one medicine, the blood thinner, called warfarin, and the Q10 may affect the levels of the warfarin. So you would have to check with your doctor. But other than that, anybody can take selenium and Q10. That's the message today.
That's okay, Dennis. Fantastic stuff. We will see you again, doubtless, in September.
Right. Oh, I'm glad I made it.